One day I was helping my wife lift our dining table. She was holding one end of it and I was holding the other end of it. She was holding with both her hands, whereas I was holding it with only one of my hands. So when we started lifting, she claimed that since she is lifting with both her hands and since I am using only one hand, she was lifting more load, which meant that she had to take more load. I told her that since the center of gravity was closer to me, as per the principles of mechanics, actually I am lifting more load. She was not impressed with that. Yeah, anyway, if you want to understand these things, you can learn using principles of mechanics. Now, the thing is, I'm going to talk to you about statically indeterminate problems and how they are different from statically determinate problems. So, I'll be giving you a simple explanation without much jargon. So, the origin of this is that long ago, some of my colleagues, including electrical engineers and mechanical people who are not aware of this concept, they asked me. So I had to explain to them in a layman's terms. So I'm going to give you the same explanation that I gave them. In the incident that I described about me helping my wife lift the dining table, uh, it is a statically determinate problem if you count my hand as one support and my wife's two hands as the other support. On the screen, you can see the example of the logs of wood supported. So on the left you have a log of wood supported by two supports, two simple supports. That is a statically determinate problem. On the right hand side of the screen, you can see a log of wood supported by three supports. That is a statically indeterminate problem. This was an explanation I had given long ago. So, as I have said, I had to give this explanation to people who are not specialists in the subject. So, I could not afford to use jargon. So, so instead, I gave them a demonstration. So, I kept two books on the either side. On top of them, I kept a wooden ruler, and I asked them to support the ruler in the center uh, with their hand. And I'll tell you now how it goes. Now, before that, now let's see what are statically determinate loads. So here it is. Let us say there are two simple supports, one on which you are keeping a thick steel bar, and on another you are keeping a wooden bar of the same dimensions. Now let us say and you are applying the load like this. What you can see on the screen, the beam is symmetric. Both the supports have to take the same load. So irrespective of irrespective of the load, so irrespective of the material of the structure, so what will happen? Both ends have to take the same load. So this much is clear, right? So these are statically determinate loads because these do not depend upon the deformation of the structure. So these are independent of the deformation of the structure. So as long as the load is the same, they'll give the same reaction. Now let us go to the now let us come to the second case, that is the statically indeterminate loads. So here I'm comparing two setups. One is on the left you have a steel bar placed on simple supports, and the red thing that I'm showing you at the center below the load is the human hand, is representing the human hand. So they are supporting this like this. So on the right hand side you have this image, right? Case 2, where you have this where two simple supports, and on top of that you have kept a wooden ruler, a wooden bar, and below that you are supporting with your hand. So now what happens is uh, when the bar is steel, right? So it is very stiff, and uh, and when you apply the weight, hardly any weight is felt on the hand because the deformation is very small. So hardly any weight is felt on the hand. But however, when you do it on the wooden bar, so what happens when you press it, your hand will feel the load because the deformation is more. So the deformation is more, so the hand will get pressed more. So this shows that the reaction is dependent on the deformation. This type of structures are called statically indeterminate structures. So the where the load does not just depend upon the um, equations of statics, but also upon the the stiffness of the structure and the deformation of the structure. So these type of structures where the reactions are dependent on the where the support reactions are dependent on the deformation of the structure, they are called statically indeterminate problems. If you like this video and want to view similar content, do like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks.